in terms of the outcome of this by-elections and perhaps your input into the mess Jubilee might be finding itself in following that particular loss?
Well, Jesse, good morning again. The reality and the writing was on the wall for UDA to win Kiambaa because without a doubt, UDA has proven to be the more organized of parties as compared to even Jubilee, and this has been shown in a number of by-elections that have been carried out. And secondly, the dissatisfaction with the way in which Jubilee has handled its leadership internally and externally, also how it relates with other people. And then the mismanagement to the point whereby Jubilee, in the middle of a by-election, goes out and says that we are contemplating doing a merger with ODM. You know, there are certain things that when people listen with regard to a party, it is losing its ability to be able to convince people that it is a party of the future. And the fact that it has stopped becoming the party of the future, then it comes naturally that people will always gravitate to what they foresee to become the future in which they are being taken to. And William Ruto has done a tremendously good job of packaging himself, packaging the party. The messaging to the people was direct. They did not cut corners in terms of making sure that they directly engage Wanjiku during the campaigns. And it would only be somebody who believes in miracles who sits down and says that a party like Jubilee could have been able to win that particular by-election, even with what they call the deep state. And for the first time, we've seen that the deep state has been incapable of delivering elections for the president in his backyard. And so you cannot be talking about deep state anymore. There were a lot of intimidation and voter coercion that was done during the Kiambaa by-election. We have incidences where it was said that the elderly were only being given money and it was tripled or quadrupled for the purposes of making them vote in a certain line. But all these things were gimmicks that were being attempted at the very last minute. For a party like UDA, for a candidate like Njuguna, who came from the very bottom, to rise to the point of even beating a distinguished politician like Kariri Njama, who has been there on the ground, who had a good name recall, who had built the hustler narrative within Kiambaa before shifting again to Jubilee. It just shows the level of mismanagement that was there within the Jubilee party. In fact, for me, the rain started beating Jubilee the moment they decided to undertake a nomination process that was a boardroom process and kick out people who would have been quite invaluable to making sure that the Jubilee party could win in that particular by-election. And this dissatisfaction was evidenced when it came to voting day, and it was very clear for the UDA that they were better organized, they were listening more to the ground, they were able to deal with every item that was brought across. The deputy president was able to engage with people directly over the phone. The amount of lieutenants who were keeping tabs on the ground and staying there, it was just exemplified with the kind of win that was shown. Okay. So for me, I saw this coming. It was a tremendous win for UDA in Kiambaa, and it's a big statement on the inroads that the Deputy President William Ruto has made within central Kenya, and it stamps his authority as a leader of the future.
We'll definitely put you to task to explain perhaps what you read from the margins, because many have argued that he needs a lot more if he's to stamp his authority in central Kenya. James Gakuya, I know you're ecstatic. It's a victory for UDA. I don't know if you're still a member of the Jubilee Party. Perhaps you can let us know, even as you give us your outlook on what exactly happened in Kiambaa. I know you called this out, saying UDA might emerge victorious, and it did.
Roger, let me tell you, I'm still a strong member of Jubilee Party until such a time that the Constitution will allow me to declare out of it. I'm still under those barriers and the territories of the party compliances. Number two, coming to Kiambaa. Kiambaa, I will tell you, it was a big win for what I can declare, will of the people of Kiambaa. Because in the last minute, I was in doubt whether Kiambaa people would be able to stand firm and cast their vote without this external influence. Because money and big money poured in Kiambaa. And I can tell you, one was getting from 1,000 to 2,000 are gone. And then it was a cash cow. Yesterday, I was shocked by the result, by what Murathe was asking about. Because Murathe yesterday was asking about the members to account for 300 million Kenya shillings. I was asking myself, 300 million Kenya shillings is a money that at least even a governor who is a contender of a county seat cannot spend in a general election. I am telling you for sure. It tells you there was a flood of money in Kiambaa. But finally, what I salute the Kiambaa people, the Kiambaa voters, is that despite all these motives of money influence, they decided to stand with the truth and their position. And that whoever will tell me whether the UDA won with a single vote, remember Mogoga we lost with the 27. And we are not complaining that we were stolen with the 27. Here, we beat Jubilee with over 500 votes, and they're still crying. I would like to tell them, even the former president of the United States, actually, he was an incumbent, but after the result, he declared that actually the election was stolen. Then we were unable to understand who steals the election, if not the system. Who else have that particular kind of capacity to steal an election if it is not the master who has every resources and equipment to do the same? And therefore, the answer is, if Joe Biden still carried the day, then what we must do, we must agree as a result of Kiambu, we must adopt the verdict of Kiambu. And let me tell you, whether the Jubilee, it is their right to move to court,
of course,
to redress, but I can tell you the position is that the people of Kiambaa made their choice, and let me tell you, their verdict is final.
Of course, the people have the final say. And you've just mentioned the amount of money that was in contention, 300 million. Of course, the party hierarchy termed it as propaganda and fake news. But Mwakesi, let's talk about the margin. As he mentioned, roughly 500 votes. That's the difference. Does it speak into a presidential election in terms of popularity? Because there are times the by-election might be hampered by facts like low voter turnout. All this put into consideration, might it sort of deem the victory of UDA allied to Deputy President William Ruto?
Actually, when we discuss the issue of margins, this is a by-election, and we rightly said, and this is an election between people from the same community, to same homogeneous makeup. They were just brothers who are going against each other. And essentially, Juguna had his people, who he had already known for a number of years. Kariri Njama had also his people. There was nothing much that was being brought in by virtue of William Ruto, because William Ruto was not the person on the ballot. In this particular case, the only thing that was quite distinguishing was that there was a new party challenging an existing party that held a particular seat. And for me, those are the dynamics that we need to look at. But when we come to 2022 and the realities that we'll have to face, the parties that will be contending against each other will be totally different. And when we look at the presidential ballot box, it will be William Ruto versus X. And that will be the decision-making between, now you can be able to ask, has the Kikuyu nation decided that it is falling with William Ruto, or has it decided that it's going with Raila Odinga? That is when you can make that contention. And for me, what I do see from UDA, a party that was started just the other day and has been branded and has been trying to make inroads and forming itself away from a larger structure that it was a member of, and making such a showing, goes to show that with the kind of win that has been witnessed today, every other political person who was looking towards the future will now decamp into this particular bigger party. They'll get more organized, they will understand their dynamics better, and come in 2022, the kind of margins that we'll be looking at going forward will be much, much higher than what we are seeing today. And remember, William Ruto has not yet even made clear who his running mate will be come 2022. And if any numbers go the way anyone would project, he will be looking looking for somebody from Central Kenya to become his deputy president. Now, when you have such a dynamic, you cannot write off William Ruto on his ability to be able to get the 99% that was touted before. Remember, even the audience that William Ruto is receiving is by virtue of the kind of work he did for the president during the 2012 and 2017 elections. So for me, I still have a lot of faith that William Ruto will be able to galvanize following this win. A lot of people are talking very differently. A lot of legislators are making clear that come the right time, even Honorable Gakuya over here has just said, come the right time, they will make decisions that matter, decisions that will make them be in the winning formation. And for now, as it stands, William Ruto is holding the winning formation, and I foresee that this kind of margins during the general election will be much higher than what we're witnessing today.
Let's talk about winning formations, Gakuya. We definitely have a couple of groupings that have happened already, One Kenya Alliance being among them. And of course, talk of a NASA coalition, despite Mudavadi mentioning that NASA is in the past, they should be looking forward. What option is on the table for this other regional stalwarts, if I may call them that way? Is it an issue to do with either you unite or you perish in terms of clinching support towards 2022? What do you make of it?
Roger one, we run from what we call experience. We have an experience of NASA, and we know how NASA was formulated and how NASA started crippling down. At the point we are, I'm totally sure the head of state is doing all his best to unite this team back. But I'm telling you, there is a single element, which is a suspicion. Once you get a suspect that the person you are working with, you cannot trust him any longer, then that clicks to your bottom to your heart. And to trust that person again, it will be difficult. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is not vying for president in 2022. Whoever is trying to make up is a different person from himself. He should be either Raila Odinga, Mudavadi, or anybody else. This is a team which has collided politically and which has totally gone astray. And let me tell you, if the head of state at this point is unable to bring them together and hero their woods and the team together, the only person that I am sure that is taking some balance somewhere is only Gideon Moi. Because Gideon Moi, at some point, he may decide to remain in Oka throughout, or he may decide to move out and join where Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta will be. That is the vessel of Raila Amolo Odinga. At this particular point, I would say, most likely, what makes Gideon Moi to be stick into Oka is to persuade this side of the team, if this team can be able to agree to be part of the larger team together. But at the point he was making another day, he was trying to Raila Odinga to the Oka, which is totally difficult and which is totally going to be difficult. Raila cannot move and join Oka. It's either way, the other way around. The Oka are the people to decide whether to move from Oka and join Raila. But it will not work the other way around. Because Raila is a formidable leader and he knows how to level his ground. Already he has his own ground. And he is a tested person in many elections. And in this particular case, I would say, he's still the horse number 2 at the point at the stage we are. Okay. He can become a horse number 1 by the stage when Oka can say, now we are going to top up your vessel with our support. Then there we can say we have 2 now horses now heading to the general election. But as of now, we have still Ruto as the horse number 1. And and Raila Odinga as horse number 2. The Oka is horse number 3. In a miracle that probably will make a unity of the Oka team and produce a presidential candidate out of themselves, which will give us a third force, is welcome. And I'm telling you, where we are heading is not short of 3 candidates in the next election. Probably, Oka will be able to unite and come up with one presidential candidate. Okay. Or else, you find them separate more. You find Caroso alone and Mudavadi alone. So it's only a number of time before December. Then there is no time for all this negotiation. And I'm sure if they are ready for a serious battle, then they would have made the decision either to remain in Oka or join Raila in this particular battle.
Okay.
And the game here is, if they are deciding to join Raila, it's better they join him early, so that at least they can start warming up. But because the time is, the more they delay, the more they're giving the Ruto team a front line.
Well, it's all to do with the strict timelines that are facing this